What's good, YouTube? Fawn versus Garbrandt has just wrapped up, and I don't know if there has been a contender with this many glaring holes in his game. Listen, I ain't trying to shit on Rob Fawn. This dude's an amazing fighter. I'll go over his positives in a minute. But first of all, this man has zero takedown defense. Marlon Moraes took this dude down. Cody Garbrandt took this dude down. When does Marlon Moraes or Cody Garbrandt take people down? Never! Never! And they were able to take Rob Font down, both of them. I don't know how the hell he's gotten to number 3 in the world with zero takedown defense against the top of the division. And he's so lucky. The bantamweight division is full of strikers. Put his ass against Merab Dvalishvili. Put his ass against Cody Stamann. He's losing those fights. I'm sorry. He's losing those fights. And another big weakness of this dude neither checks nor counters leg kicks. His legs are wide open. He does nothing about leg kicks. The same as his teammate Calvin Kattar. They do nothing about leg kicks. Doesn't counter them, doesn't check them. Put his ass up against Pedro Munoz or Jose Aldo. They're beating his ass too because of leg kicks. You know what I'm saying? Like, this dude, I don't listen. Like I said, I'm not trying to hate on Rob Font. This dude's really good, but I just want to get these off my chest because it's stunning to me how this guy is the number 3 ranked contender and on the verge of a title shot with no wrestling defense and has no answer for leg kicks whatsoever. It's stunning. It truly is stunning. But good on him. I mean, it shows how good he is everywhere else, right? So let's get to the positives. Rob Font is special, bro. His jab is probably the best jab in the UFC. 100%, without a doubt. His jab is probably the best jab in the UFC. His striking just in general is just so, like, he's so fundamental. Everything is where it's supposed to be. Defensively, his hands are always up. Everything is tight. He doesn't throw a lot of looping shots. Everything's tight. Everything's fundamental. He has great movement, great footwork. He throws a lot of volume out there. His striking, his pure boxing is elite. His pure boxing skills is elite. His kicks, he showed some pretty good kicks today as well. Leg kicks, head kicks. He showed some pretty good kicks as well. But his boxing's elite. His kicking is pretty solid too. So his overall striking game is really good. Until I was talking about how he's wrestling is 0, his takedown defense is 0, but what he is good at is he has good jiu-jitsu. He has good, not great, but it's good. He has good scrambles. If you give him an inch of space, that dude's gonna take it and try to scramble up to his feet. So it allows him to like not be able to be held down by like these weaker grapplers like Garbrandt and Moraes. They're not as pressuring or as strong or have a strong top game. So he's able to scramble if they give him an inch of space. Where he faces someone like Merab Dvalishvili or Cody Stamann, these really strong, powerful wrestlers who aren't going to give him an inch of space, he's going to have trouble against those guys. But he's nowhere near those guys. Those guys are like, what, 15, 10 ranked? He's like 3 looking at the championship. But yeah, another thing is Cody Garbrandt looked gassed. Now listen, I don't know if it's because he came out wrestling heavy. He like got what, 4 takedowns in the first 2 rounds. And he hasn't really, wrestled. He's usually primarily a striker. Or if it's because of COVID, obviously this is his first fight since he caught COVID. But whatever it is, his gas tank did not look good. He looked like he started to gas out in the 2nd and 3rd. Now, it looked like he started to pick up a second wind in the 4th and 5th. But the 2nd and 3rd rounds, he looked fatigued. He looked slow. And overall, it was just not a good performance by Cody. Hopefully he gets back to championship level, man, because I really thought he'd come back, Cody Garbrandt of old. I think the Cody Garbrandt who beat Dominic Cruz, the Cody Garbrandt who fought TJ the first time beats this Rob Font. Just being straight up. But that's not the Cody we got. We got a lackadaisical, slow, easily tiring, and just unenergized Cody Garbrandt today. And it is what it is. But yeah, impressive win for Font. There's a few fights for Rob Font. I mean, he could fight the winner of TJ and Dillashaw. I mean, TJ and Dillashaw. You could fight the winner of TJ and Corey. He could fight for the championship next. I'm trying to think, what other contenders are there? Well, Cody is the 4th ranked contender. Who's the 5th ranked contender? I'm not 100% sure on that, but he's definitely on the short list for the championship. But yeah, impressive performance by Rob Font. And Carla Esparza, I mean, wow. I expected her to be able to take down Yan Jiaonan and control her, but to get a 2nd round TKO like that she looked bad. And stylistically, she's a tough matchup for Rose. I don't want to see her against Wei Li. I don't want to see her against Joanna, because both those fights are bad stylistic matchups for Carla. Put her up against Rose, because I think stylistically she could give Rose problems. Obviously, the length and the power of Rose is going to give Esparza problems, but like a pressuring wrestler is like the worst stylistic matchup for Rose. And I think Esparza 100% could win that fight. I think it's a very competitive fight. But yeah, the way she dominated Yan Jiaonan, the way she did, was super impressive. If the UFC really wants to, like, put on Rose versus Wei Li, the rematch, I guess they could do Joanna versus Carla. But the problem is Joanna's so effing good. She's just going to stop Carla. She's going to stuff Carla's takedowns and beat her up on the feet. And then guess what? She's log jamming the division again, because she got beat by Rose. She got beat by Wei Li. But no one's going to be able to pass her. So it is what it is, But yeah, overall, I'm not gonna lie, this fight card was underwhelming. On paper, it was underwhelming. In reality, it was underwhelming. I don't even really remember a good knockout with this card. I mean, Carla Esparza's performance was impressive. She should get performance of the night. Fight of the night? I don't even know, man. I don't even know. But yeah, on to the next. Unfortunately, next week, no UFC. I might post a video next week if I think of something creative. If not, I'll be back in 2 weeks for predictions for the Rosenstrike versus Sakai card. But that's all I got for you guys. I'm gone.